Namaste. The Yajurveda is an ancient collection of Sanskrit mantras and verses used in Hindu worship and rituals. It is one of the four primary scriptures of Hinduism, collectively known as the Vedas: Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, and Upveda. The name Yajurveda is derived from the Sanskrit roots Yajus, meaning worship or sacrifice, and Veda, meaning knowledge. Yajurveda may be translated as knowledge of the sacrifice. The text describes the way in which religious rituals and sacred ceremonies should be performed. The Yajurveda is more pronouncedly a ritual Veda, for it is essentially a guidebook of the Advaryu priest who had to practically or ritualistic works in a sacrifice. His works vary from the selection of a plot of the land for the sacrificial altar down to offering oblations to the sacred fires. Four major priests were assigned to these four Vedas: the Hota to the Rig Veda, the Advaryu to the Yajurveda, Udgata to the Samveda, and Brahman to the Atharvaveda. Each has essential ritual roles, but it is the Advaryu reciting from the Yajurveda who functions as executive priest, assigning sacrificial duties and mantras to the Yajmanas. Yajman is the patron of the Yajna, and also prescribing duties to other priests. The Yajurveda is also important for its presentation of philosophical doctrines. It preaches the concept of Pran and Manas. The Yajurveda is broadly grouped into two categories: the white or bright or Shukla Yajurveda, of which about 16 recensions are known, and the black or dark or Krishna Yajurveda, which may have as many as 86 recensions. Most of them are lost, but we have found a mention of those in the Vayu Purana. And out of the 16 recensions of White Yajurveda, only 2 have survived into the modern times, and they are Madhyandena Samhita and Kanva Samhita. And the others are known only by name because they are mentioned in other texts. While the term black implies the unarranged, unclear, motley collection of verses in Yajurveda, in contrast to the white, which implies the well-arranged, clear Yajurveda, the black Yajurveda has survived in 4 recensions: Taittiriya Samhita, Kathak Samhita, Kapishthal Samhita, Maitrayani Samhita. And each recension of Yajurveda has Samhita, Brahmanas, Aranyaks, Upanishad as a part of the text, with Shaushutras, Grihasutras, and Pratikshakya attached to the text. The Krishna Yajurveda is characterized by a mixture of mantra and Brahmana, whereas the Shukla Yajurveda maintains the clear separation of the two. The earliest and most ancient layer of Yajurveda Samhita includes about 1,875 verses that are distinct yet borrow and built upon the foundation of verses in Rig Veda. The middle layer includes the Shatpat Brahman. The Shatpat Brahman is one of the largest Brahman texts in the Vedic collection, and it means Shatpat. Shatpat means Brahman of the 100 paths. It includes a veritable encyclopedia of meandering opinions on ritual and other matters. The youngest layer of Yajurveda text includes the largest collection of primary Upanishads, influential of various schools of Hindu philosophy, and they are the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the Ish Upanishad, the Taittiriya Upanishad, the Katha Upanishad, the Shveteshvatra Upanishad, and the Maitrayani Upanishad. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is found in the White Yajurveda. It is one of the Mukhya Upanishads and among the largest and oldest as well. It is a key scripture of Hinduism that has influenced all schools of Hindu philosophy. The text is a treatise on Atman. Atman means soul or self, with passages on metaphysics and ethics. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is among the earliest extensive discussions of the Hindu concept of dharma, kama, and moksha. The Ish Upanishad is found in White Yajurveda. It is one of the shortest Upanishads. Brihadaranyaka was the longest Upanishad and Ish Upanishad is the shortest Upanishad, embedded as the final chapter of the Shukla Yajurveda. A key scripture of the Vedanta sub-schools of Hinduism. The Ish Upanishad also discusses Atman, that is soul, self-theory of Hinduism, and is referenced by both Dvait, that is dualism, and Advait, that is non-dualism sub-schools of Vedanta. It is classified as a poetic Upanishad along with Jain, Katha Upanishad and Mundak Upanishad. The Taittiriya Upanishad is found in Black Yajurveda. The Taittiriya Upanishad includes why it is known as Taittiriya. I will come to it later. Right. So the Taittiriya Upanishad is found in the Black Yajurveda. The Taittiriya Upanishad includes verses that are partly prayers and benedictions, partly instructions on phonetics and praxis, partly advice on ethics and morals given to graduating students from ancient Vedic gurukuls. So the text offers a view of educational system in ancient India. The Katha Upanishad is also found in Black Yajurveda. The Upanishad is the legendary story of a little boy Nachiketa, the son of sage Vajasrvasa, who meets Yama, the Indian deity of death. Their conversation evolves to a discussion of the nature of man, knowledge, self, that is Atman, and moksha, that is liberation. The detailed teachings of Katha Upanishad have been variously interpreted as dualistic and non-dualistic, Dvait and Advait. The Katha Upanishad found in the Yajurveda is among the most widely studied Upanishads. Shveteshvatara Upanishad is found in Black Yajurveda. The text opens with metaphysical questions about the primal cause of all existence, its origin, its end, and what role, if any, did time, nature, necessity, chance, the spirit had as primal cause. It then develops its answer, concluding that the universal soul exists in every individual. There is oneness, a unity of souls in one and only self. The Maitreya Upanishad is found in the Black Yajurveda and discusses metaphysical questions related to self. The Maitreya Upanishad is notable for its references to theories found in Buddhism, elements of the Sankhya and Yoga schools of Hinduism, as well as the ashram system. The Yajurveda had short sutras and graha sutras attached to it from 15 schools. The text is a useful source of information about the agriculture, economic and social life during the Vedic era. The verses list the types of crops considered important in ancient India. Two of the oldest surviving manuscript copies of the Shukla Yajurveda sections have been discovered in Nepal and Western Tibet, and these are dated to the 12th century contemporary era. The core text of the Yajurveda falls within the classical mantra period of Vedic Sanskrit at the end of the 2nd millennium BCE, younger than the Rig Veda, and roughly contemporary with the Atharvaveda and the Samveda. The scholarly consensus dates the bulk of the Yajurveda and Atharvaveda hymns to the early Indian Iron Age after 1200 and before 800 BCE. The various ritual mantras in the Yajurveda Samhitas are typically set in a meter, as we discussed in the last video in Veda. What is a meter? And if you want to know more about meter, please see the video, the Gayatri Mantra. All mantras in Yajurveda Samhita are typically set in a meter and call on Vedic deities such as Sun, Indra, Agni, Prajapati, Rudra, and others. The question arises why Yajurveda has been divided into two parts. And there is a legend about it that Vedvyasa compiled the entire Vedic corpus and thought it would be difficult for people in the Kali Yuga to understand the entire corpus in one go, so he divided them into four: the Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, and Atharvaveda. After Vedvyasa compiled the entire Vedic corpus, please remember compiled, the mantras were already existing. So he compiled the entire Vedic corpus, divided them into four, and taught each Veda to one of his Sishyas. And in this course, Yajurveda was taught to Vaishampayan. Vaishampayan was the first to receive the Yajurveda, which he taught to his Sishya Yajnavalkya. But something went wrong between the Guru and the Sishya, between Vaishampayan and Yajnavalkya. And Vaishampayan became angry and told Yajnavalkya to return whatever was taught to him. The entire Yajurveda came out of the body of Yajnavalkya as small pieces of burning coal. Vaishampayan told his other Shishyas to eat these embers, that is burning coal, which they did assuming the forms of Teetar. Teetar is a bird, right? That is how I was telling that it is known as Taitarya Samhita. So each Shishya consumed some part of Veda, and then when they reproduced the portions they had consumed, it was reproduced in the form of various portions, various kandas, or known as sections. There are 7 such kandas in Krishna Yajurveda or the Black Yajurveda, but they all were mixed up. The mantra bhag and the Brahman bhag got completely mixed up. Now Yajnavalkya did a lot of tapasya and requested sun god to systematically arrange them, and looking at his tapasya, sun god himself systematically arranged it, and this portion which was now systematically arranged is known as Shukla Yajurveda. Now this Samhita is also known as Vajseni Samhita. Why it is known as Vajseni Samhita? Because Yajnavalkya's father was Muni Vajseni. That is why Yajnavalkya was known as Vajasneya. And Shukla Samhita, composed by Vajasneya, is known as Vajasneyi Samhita. Although there is another legend about it that when Yajnavalkya did his tapasya and sun god came in the form of a horse known as Vaji, and that is why it is known as Vajasneyi Samhita. There is also a Upveda attached to Yajurveda, and that is the Dhanurveda. If you want to know more about the Vedas, you can see the entire playlist, the Vedic literature, in which you can find other videos like Vedas, the ultimate source of knowledge. In detail, the meter and the Gayatri Mantra has been discussed in the video, the Gayatri Mantra and the Rigveda. Thank you.
If you have liked this video, please like, share and subscribe.